In the headlines, governors of Imo and Zamfara states differ on self-defense. Court dismisses fresh bail application for Nnamdi Kanu. Intending pilgrims in Kanu protest non-allocation of Hajj seats. And on the foreign scene, dozens of inmates die in Colombia prison riot. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma says the security situation in his state has not reached a point where citizens should be encouraged to bear arms in order to defend themselves against bandits and other criminal elements. He said this on Tuesday while fielding questions from State House reporters after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Uzodimma came to the villa to thank Buhari for approving the hosting of Army Day celebration in Owerri, the state capital. Zamfara government had on Sunday advised individuals to obtain guns and defend themselves because of the increase in the activities of bandits in various parts of the state and deal with the recent escalating attacks, kidnapping and the criminal levies being enforced on innocent communities. Meanwhile, Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad has clarified that the decision of his administration to mobilize people to acquire firearms is for them to complement the efforts of the security forces in the ongoing war against the terrorists. He made the clarification while inaugurating 4 special committees at the Government House, Gusau, the state capital, charged with ensuring the implementation of security measures being taken to tackle the upsurge of banditry in the state. A report.
The governor stated that in recent weeks, terrorists have attacked parts of the state, especially Bukuyum, Gusau, and Gumi local government areas. The governor reiterated that his administration will continue to explore avenues to crush the lingering security challenges and the inhuman aggression residents of the state are suffering due to attacks, while noting that the state government is aware of the efforts of the security forces in tackling prevailing insecurity. He, however, said their efforts are hampered by a lack of modern hardware and adequate manpower, hence the need for people to procure weapons to defend themselves against the terrorists.
Suffering almost daily from inhuman aggression from the bandits to acquire firearms to defend their communities. I would like to remind us that self-defense is a natural instinct and has always been part of human survival strategy. And those entrusted with the safety of lives and property of our people will do everything possible to uphold this responsibility within the ambit of the law. We are also aware that the security forces are doing their best to combat this formidable challenge. Their efforts are, however, hampered by a lack of adequate modern warfare equipment and a dearth of personnel and manpower capacity.
The chairman of the Special Committee on Prosecution of Banditry-related Activities, Abdullahi Shinkafi, warned criminal elements to distance themselves from Zamfara State, as it is time to deal decisively with anyone found culpable, no matter how highly placed he or she may be in the society.
Logistics supplies to the banditry camps, and this is the time that the Zamfara State Governor, His Excellency Dr. Bello Matola Maradun, has come out with the serious action for the fight against banditry. There is no mercy for the merciless. There is no retreat, no surrender in those who are aiding and abetting banditry in Zamfara State, whether directly or indirectly, no matter your status in the society. The law will take its course. There is no hiding place for kidnappers, killers, cattle stealing, and armed banditry and sponsor of criminal element in the state. And this is the time there's going to be a total flush out of crime and criminality in Zamfara State.
The 4 special committees include Committee on Intelligence Gathering and Bandits Informants, Committee on Prosecution of Banditry-related Offences Management of Community Protection, Guards and Special Standing Security Committee. Governor Bello assured that the state government had provided 20 Hilux vehicles and 500 motorbikes to special committees to make their jobs and movement easy.
A federal high court in Abuja on Tuesday dismissed a fresh application for bail by the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The application was filed pending the determination of the treasonable felony charge leveled against him by the federal government. Kanu, who is currently facing a seven-count charge, had in the application he filed through his team of lawyers led by Mike Ezechome, also challenged the revocation of the bail the court had earlier granted to him. He asked the court to set aside the order it made on March 28, 2019, which not only issued a bench warrant for his arrest, but also gave the federal government the nod to try him in absentia. Justice Binta Nyaku, not satisfied with the reason the IPOB leader gave for his failure to appear in court for the continuation of his trial, dismissed his application. The case has been adjourned till November 14th for mention to await the outcome of Kanu's appeal. Youth play a vital role in nation building as they offer unique contributions to national development. Education activist Amina Abubakar stated this in an interview with Trust TV. The report.
Amina Abubakar further stressed the need for all stakeholders to ensure that all hands are on deck to lift the educational system in the country, as it is the backbone of growth and development.
I think it's not very necessary because all stakeholders involved need to actually wear the shoes of those students. And the country is already upside down with a lot of crisis. And you're talking about millions more young Nigerians idle with nothing to do. Some of them have businesses they run in these universities. So aside just being idle, they are also out of market.
She added that the prolonged strike will further reduce the performance of students and pave way for hooliganism, among other societal ills. The education activist called on the federal government to give priority to education by implementing the promise it made in 2016 to allocate 15 or 26% of the total budget to education.
Another very important demand that the federal government has not really lived up to its words, like the president made a promise in 2016 in the summit in London, that they are going to key into UNESCO's minimum recommendation for the national budget of at least 15% or 26% earmarked for education. And that is not happening. Like you see, only not up to half of that being earmarked for education, and education is capital intensive.
A cross-section of students who spoke on the negative impact of the prolonged strike on their academic pursuits revealed that the prolonged strike has, among other things, disrupted the academic calendar.
Many students now, they are at home, they are not doing anything. Some are probably doing work at home, but it does not change the fact that students are supposed to be in school and round up within the time range. And we just suffered from coronavirus, the period where we stayed almost 1 year at home, and schools are trying to meet up to that time. Like they are trying to meet up again so that everything will be in place. But now again, they are going on strike. So it's really, really bad. I've been in school for a very, very long time, and almost every section I must have strike.
It is a kind of conjunction between the government and ASU itself. So for them, for students now to go back to school this semester, I doubt if it's possible. So it will be definitely maybe after the election before it will come up.
The students are, however, hopeful that ASU and the federal government will sooner than later resolve the issues that led to the strike action to enable them return to school.
Now, point-of-sale agents and food vendors at the newly built Yahaya Sabo bus terminal in Lafia, Nasarawa State on Tuesday protest the alleged 2,000 naira rent fee imposed on them by the management of the park. The protest, which started as early as 8:50 a.m., lasted for hours. The report.
Some travelers who came to the park to board vehicles to their various destinations were stranded as a result of the protest. One of the entrances to the gates was partially barricaded, a situation that forced some drivers to park their cars outside the park as onlookers, Okada riders and some commuters trooped in to catch a glimpse of the protest. The protesters were seen carrying leaves and chanting, "We no gree. We don't have enough money to pay for this huge amount," amongst others. In an interview, the chairman, POS operators in the park, Williams Kashere, said they were protesting because the management of the park is forcing them to pay 2,000 naira per day. He, however, alleged that the management, after a meeting on Monday with its members, put a fine of 2,000 naira for each of them that operates without a shop in the park. Kashere appealed to the state government to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid to avoid future occurrences.
Based on what is happening, the traders here are demonstrating, and you want to know why they are demonstrating. And I just want to give you a brief about what has happened. For about a month now, they were brought in here and they just came in. You understand the fact that they are from about 4 different motor parks. We've been trying to get their leaders so that we talk to them. From all indication, they don't even have leaders for all their organizations here. Now, we understand that this place is rowdy. There are too many people here. And we want to organize this place so that it will be a decent place for people to live in. Now, in front of this terminal, everybody sells things there. They put shops, they put umbrellas and all sorts of things. We agreed that, okay, we are going to designate a place at the back of the terminal. They should all move to the back where they have been designated to go to. They refuse. To go to that place, they refuse. So we decided to say, okay, the way to move these people out is to slam people with fines who defer our orders. We came to them. Yesterday, I went around myself to every of those people that were staying in those places that we asked them to move. And we told them, if you decide to stay here from today, we are going to pay 2,000 naira daily for remaining here. But if you move to that other place, you will pay the 100 naira, 200 naira, depending on what you are selling.
Reacting to the protest, the manager, Yahaya Sabo Bus Terminal, Mr. Raphael Amos, said management introduced the fine as a strategy to enable it to relocate the POS operators and food vendors to a place that has been designated for them as part of efforts to decongest the park. The newly built Yahaya Sabo Bus Terminal was inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari on February 24, 2022.
The chairman, Northern Elders Forum, Professor Ango Abdullahi, said Nigeria's political situation was the major issue that dominated his discussion with former President Olusegun Obasanjo during his visit to Zaria, Kaduna State. Speaking in an interview, the former Vice-Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University explained that the first thing the former president said was whether the country is heading towards a new leadership that will take it out of the huge challenges bedeviling it, as there are divergent views on whether the nation is on the right track or not.
My opinion, my opinion on the candidates in terms of their quality does not necessarily force the parties that put them there to change. But if for any reason this happens to be also a very widely held opinion in Nigeria, nothing is impossible in terms of, after all, when you are talking about, there are so many candidates that are on ground, even the older ones, some of them. Up to now, I don't understand that the APC presidential candidate has not been able to even decide who is going to be his running mate. So there are things are quite fluid and flexible. And this flexibility that offers itself may lead to perhaps unexpected changes that could take place within those parties. And within the other group, there are other 15 aspirants. The other 15 aspirants may be thinking the same way as some of us are thinking, and it's possible that perhaps they are putting their heads together to see whether it's possible from among them they could all rally down one that they perceive or they see as a possible good candidate that they will also present to compare with the others that are already there.
Now, sir, what face to define ways for them politically? Being the chairman, have you charted course? Have you identified where the North should go this time?
No. I think the Northern Elders Forum has a direction which it has set for itself since its formation. It is a political activist group, and its main purpose is to see in as many ways as possible how to participate, and in the process of participation protect the political interests of the North in Nigeria. And that's what we have been doing. As you can see from the various people that are working within the general umbrella of Northern Elders Forum, Dr. Hakim, Sharif, the group that calls itself Coalition of Northern Groups and so on. All.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come on the news, Gombe brothel where teenage girls are initiated into prostitution. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. Governors of Imo and Zamfara states differ on self-defense. And court dismisses fresh bail application for Nnamdi Kanu. Meanwhile, in other news, 3 persons have been burnt to death, while 2 others have sustained various degrees of burn injuries as a tanker carrying diesel lost control and rammed into 2 other vehicles carrying goods in Kogi State. Confirming the incident, the State Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Stephen Daolung, said the 3 persons were burnt beyond recognition and 2 others who were rescued from the raging fire were taken to Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, for medical attention. The corpses of the victims have been deposited at the mortuary of the same hospital. As of Tuesday morning, the remains of the driver and his passenger who were burnt beyond recognition were still part of the tanker debris. Daolung, who advised drivers of the articulated vehicles, especially those carrying flammable substances, to always be cautious and drive within the regulated speed limit, also charged them to maintain all vehicle safety protocols. Hundreds of intending pilgrims in Kano are protesting non-allocation of Hajj slots despite making full payments for the pilgrimage. Kano State Pilgrims Welfare Board confirms that the board is still waiting for allocation of Hajj seats from the National Hajj Commission. Correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the protesters expressed shock over the non-allocation of Hajj slots despite making full payments. A report.
These are 280 intending pilgrims under the Hajj savings schemes, which they paid their money to Jaiz Bank in Kano. But few days to go, there seems to be no future for them, and the explanation seems unsatisfactory. According to these people, Jaiz Bank has debited their account, which they sent to both National Hajj Commission and Kano State Pilgrims Welfare Board. But the board is giving them no assurance of going to the Holy Land. You see, Kano Pilgrim Board has collected all our traveling documents, but now they are telling us that there is no allocation of seats. That is why we came to Jaiz to seek for answers, because we were debited since last week. They took 401,000 naira to Kano Pilgrims Welfare Board and 2,050,000 naira to National Hajj Commission, but yet they are still telling us that there is no seat allocation to us. Meanwhile, the Kano State Pilgrims Welfare Board says so far there is no allocation from National Hajj Commission in the name of those pilgrims of the Hajj savings schemes from Jaiz Bank, but the board is hoping to get some anytime soon.
The issue na Hajj savings scheme ya taso, na je hukumar kula da aikin Hajji da Umara akalla.
When the issue of Hajj savings scheme came up, I visited the National Hajj Commission more than 10 times to explain the lack of seat allocation for Kano, hoping that it will improve. Myself and the governor himself were promised repeatedly by the commission, yet there are no allocation coming to us. So these people, we are only hoping that this allocation will come so that we will include them. But honestly, it's getting late. As intending pilgrims all over the country begins to arrive to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, these people can only hope for change, which is highly unlikely at the moment. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Saad Abubakar, has directed the Muslim Ummah to look out for the new moon of Dhul Hijjah as from Wednesday. Abubakar said this in a statement in Sokoto on Tuesday, signed by Chairman, Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto, Professor Sambo Junaidu. The Sultan prayed Allah to assist the Muslim Ummah in the discharge of its religious duties. Dhul Hijjah is the 12th and last month in the Islamic calendar in which the holy pilgrimage takes place, as well as the festival of sacrifice. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Gombe State Command has paraded 20 girls and 14 men over alleged involvement in prostitution. The State Commandant, NSCDC, Wazir Babagoni, said about 10 hotels suspected to be brothels where underage girls were lured for prostitution were shut down. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The NSCDC command said most of the underage girls ran away from home in search of something better, but unfortunately, they usually end up with notorious people who take advantage of the girls by exploiting and indulging them in illicit activities under the pretext of drama shows.
The man of the day, as you don't stop them. You tell them to produce their licenses, but when they produce their license and registration with the CAC, it was a business premises, trading and merchandise. And with that license, now they are operating as a hotel and as a playground for ladies who are being brought across all the country. They are from Adamawa, from Borno, from Jos, and then from Taraba. Most of them are from the northeast. It's a very serious, security threat, and these are the, incidences that gives to, robbery, kidnapping, and even cultism. At the end you cannot know them. They will come to lure ladies, these small girls. At the end of the day, cultism, they took them and then killed them. And these are, these things. Some of them are robbers. You cannot know them. And robbers can hide in the pretext of that play and then hotel. So they will do all possible best, in order to, do crime.
Some of the girls who speak to Trust TV said they feel violated and exploited. Without the consent of my parents, they don't know I am here in Gombe and into this. It is true we are into prostitution. They spray money to us at the club. We can decide to follow the person to a hotel room. So used to follow my boyfriend who feeds me.
No money I gave up.
Someone may want to sleep with you if you agree, but you can run away. He can pay like 20 to 30,000 naira. Then the CDC also paraded 3 suspected hoodlums engaged in rail-track vandalism and a suspected kidnapper. He said the suspect will be charged to court. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Now look at the foreign scene, where at least 49 inmates have died and dozens were injured during a riot in a prison in the southwestern Colombian city of Tuluá. A spokesperson for the National Penitentiary and Prison Institute confirmed the death toll of what they described as an attempted prison escape, adding that the figure was preliminary and may change. Outgoing President of Colombia, who is on a visit to Portugal, said the incident will be investigated. Similarly, head of the National Prisons Agency, General Tito Castellanos, described the overnight incident on Tuesday as a tragic and disastrous event. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.